Hey, everybody, and we are live with another episode of Hot Jobs.
Hey, your microphone come undone?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
We are with another live episode of Hot Jobs, where if you fiddle with your microphone and the cord comes out, you can't hear anything. So thankfully, it's fixed
Like
and back on.
the
And
universe had
Tara and I
rendered you
are here to
speechless.
share the week's hottest jobs, internships, and career search advice with a little bit of like a kink in the wire once in a while.
Listen, we're people too. We're fallible.
Uh-oh. Now I can't hear you, Tara.
Oh no.
Hold on. Oh my God.
Guys, sometimes things work and sometimes they don't. That's just the way it is.
Well,
Can you hear me?
I'm assuming you can hear me.
I can. Yes.
Okay. So I am going to try to fix my audio real quick. And
Let's see. You can't hear
in the
me.
meantime, Tara, why don't you tell us about those two cool hot jobs you have going on?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited because I never get to go first. So, guys, I'm going to be talking about two specific roles that I am really excited about. Um, One, I know I've mentioned this one before, but Pliant Energy Systems is a skill bridge out in Brooklyn, New York. And guys, you know how much I love Pliant Energy because I think what they do is really, really interesting. So they are on the forefront of marine technology. They designed these advanced propulsion robots that are capable and operating in all kinds of environment, even out in the ocean and in surf zones. So what they are looking for is someone with mechanical and engineering aptitude to work on their robots, to work on their prototypes. So they have a number of defense contracts. They're looking for someone that has this engineering background and also has some understanding of their clientele. So we're looking for someone who can do like low voltage mechanical work. They are very willing to teach, and that's what I love about a skill bridge provider because they want to teach their interns about their technology. And so if you think this is something that you would be interested in, and if it's not just for you, maybe someone you know, maybe someone in your network, what a great opportunity to build your network. If you know someone maybe peripherally said, hey, I was on Hot Jobs and I saw this really cool company. This is something I think you'd be interested in. You can go ahead and head over to our website right above my head here at hiremilitary.us and look for the skill bridge with Pliant Energy Systems. This is on site in Brooklyn, New York. And you know what that means? It means you're going to get the best bagels. It means you're going to get the best bagels.
And some
Right,
would
Mike?
say pizza.
And some would say pizza. I'm not a pizza connoisseur, but I am a bagel connoisseur. And
I am
so
too.
you can have the best bagels. You have the best bagels.
I came
So check out. Go
I
ahead.
came home with like 8 of them the last trip in New York in a bag, and I think they lasted
They
2
freeze
days.
well.
Well, I didn't freeze them. They didn't make it that long. You know, you don't realize how much better those bagels are than anywhere else in the country. Like,
Totally.
will you
Yeah.
eat a fresh New York style bagel? Okay, sorry. It
So
is a
good.
great
It's so good.
opportunity. Can I also just say what I love about our skill bridge internships or career skill program internships is every company that works with us has headcount at the end and the intent to hire
Yes,
if it's a good internship. So we've had
absolutely.
a well over 95% job offer rate from our internships. And that's not something that every other provider can say out there.
100%. And Mike, it's one of the things that we really vet in our SkillBridge partnerships, in that we want there to be opportunities for these folks at the end. This is not a free labor program. This isn't volunteer work. These people, these service members, are looking for real world, applicable experience in hopes that it's a great fit. Of course, it has to be a great fit. The service member and the company have to be a good match for each other. But yes, we preface that with all of our SkillBridge partners, and that at the end, we hope this is like a happy marriage.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Did you have another one?
I do have another one. So I actually I don't know if I've talked about this role as much, but it is with our partners at Gideon USA, and they do construction on all installation sites. So we've talked about the project manager, which is still a viable role, again, on our website. But today I'm going to be talking about the construction quality manager. So this is a position that's looking at quality control across their spectrum of construction. So would be great if someone had a working knowledge of either construction or be able to read blueprints, have an engineering mindset. So this does take place across the country. So there's several installations across the country where this position would take place. I have the full list because it's pretty long, so I'm not going to read it off to everybody, but it is on our website. A couple of the things that you would be responsible for in this role would be to track project submissions to the government, to look at quality reports, to schedule meetings, to make sure that these construction projects continue to be on target. We all know how construction goes, right? I currently live in the Chicago suburbs. We say that there's 2 seasons here, winter and construction. And the construction projects are never really on time, right? But they also have to be done with quality. So this person would be checking those milestones, making sure that the quality of the work is hitting all of those milestones as well. So again, if you think this is something that you could potentially be interested in, or someone in your network might be a great fit for, this is a skill bridge opportunity. So you do have to be currently active duty, approaching your last 180 days of service. We have the complete listing for both of those positions, as well as a number of other SkillBridge and direct hire opportunities up on our website. And of course, if you're in the SkillBridge pool or the jobs pool, you get an email from me or our team about the opportunities first. So you can be an early applicant.
And can I say that role in Gideon sounds like a perfect fit for a senior enlisted leader or a mid-level officer that's just, go like maybe just going and doing their battlefield circulation, checking on they're even on bases, right? On installation. Yes. So like you're literally going, it's such a great transition role to be able to work for a company that's still attached to installations, doing work there, and you get to go and make sure that everything's being done right. I mean, that sounds like exactly what I did as a first sergeant. You don't have to go bang the nails in. You're making sure that they're using the right nails and that they're using the right, that they're banging nails in the right place and that they're showing up and that they're wearing their safety hat and everything. I mean, it sounds like a dream opportunity. And if you get an internship, it gets a chance to really come in there and demonstrate, your ability to do that job well. That's a fantastic. And from everybody I've spoken with, the construction management field is going like this when there's a lot of other fields out there that are going kind of like down a little bit. You can't replace that role with AI.
You cannot. And Mike, I don't have a lot of inside knowledge about military installations in particular, but I want to say that they're probably like college campuses where there is continuous construction, right? Where things are constantly being updated or improved. So agree. I thought the same thing, is that this is not going away. This is a field that's only growing. So I think if you're interested, I would get in now.
Yep. Well, we got somebody in Tampa wanting to connect. Our CEO and I will be in Tampa next week for SOP Week from Sunday through Thursday. And we've got Andrew Irwin saying, what about IT? I think you probably need to say a little bit more. But for those that are joining us, normally in the beginning of the session, I would talk about sharing what you're looking for, what type of job, and where you want to do it. So a lot of people join these sessions, including recruiters. We've got an Amazonian right there doing it. So if you are a job seeker, let us know what job you're looking for and where you'd like to do it. Don't just say IT. Say what type of job in the IT industry and where you'd like to do it at, so that people can potentially connect you to opportunities. I would normally say it in the beginning, but I hit a wire and disconnected my microphone and jacked everything up, so it didn't come through. Also, speaking of the guy that wanted to talk about IT, our friends at the Maryland Air National Guard. So this is really cool. The Maryland Air National Guard is in the midst of a transition from an A-10, the Warthog aircraft wing, to a cyber operations wing. They're located right outside Fort Meade. And some of the units are on Fort Meade. And so, which is where NSA and Cyber Command headquarters are. So they are transitioning to a cyber operations, and all the roles that come with that, they've got to fill. So there is an incredible opportunity to, especially if you have any kind of an IT background, to join the Maryland Air National Guard, get a top secret clearance, get sent out to cyber training, either offensive, defensive, high-end network analytics, whatever. 1 weekend a month. Their country partner is Estonia. So 2 weeks a year in the summer, they sent a group of people to go do training in Estonia, which I was like, can I go with you? And they just have, when they activate you, your activation is at Fort Meade doing this. So, I mean, I couldn't recommend it more. They've got great bonuses for prior service people joining. I believe it was 30,000 or more.
More.
Yeah. I was talking to some of the guys that we're doing training for them, for their aviation maintenance people to get ready for cyber training. And they were talking about how, once you get through that training and you get that top secret clearance, maybe get a polygraph as well, you're already up in the mid 100s, like 130, 140, 150 with any kind of experience whatsoever, with the room to go much, much higher depending on which route you go. So I would recommend everyone within driving distance of, Baltimore, DC area to consider the Maryland Air National Guard. All right. We've got some people joining here. We've got LinkedIn users saying Soft Week is awesome. I was there. I spoke last year. I couldn't agree more. I don't go to events often. I am an introvert, believe it or not. I am excited about Soft Week because I had so much fun there. We've got Andrew saying cybersecurity. Hopefully Andrew checks out the Maryland Air National Guard or attends one of our Mastering LinkedIn webinars with the USO. The next one is on May 28th, and you can Google USO MVP, like most valuable player, to register for that event. And then we've got Agile Product Owner in San Diego. I like how specific you are, Andrew.
Very good, Andrew.
A LinkedIn user saying, long. Look at that. So it looks like he wants to sell.
Energy fan.
Yeah, cool. Well, I think that's really cool that you have that kind of connection with them.
Yeah.
And then we got Andrew saying, "Go Army, beat Navy." I love it, Andrew. And so cybersecurity, we got a lot of cybersecurity here. Management and finance. I don't know what generic management is. We might want to dial it in a little bit there, Caleb. And Air Force Cyber Warfare Operator in San Antonio. So what I would say for you, Alfredo, I have a question for you.
Right now.
Have you heard of the Tailored Strategic Retention Program? So the TSR program is a DOW CIO contract that provides white glove transition assistance to cyber IT and cyberspace enablers in exchange for the commitment to do 2 years in the Guard of Reserve. So if you are committed to joining the Guard of Reserve for 2 years, including down there in San Antonio or in Maryland, where you would have great opportunities in the private sector as well, then what happens is you come over to our team and we give you a white glove transition support. Not like TAP. You have career coaches, resume writers, personal introductions. If you look back we did some posts for Addison, one of our other cyber officers that were there, and he's got a whole bunch of jobs he's considering just from the post that we did and the support that we've given him. So if you have any questions, you can always reach out to Tara and I, or you can go to our website and look for TSR, and that'll be there as well. So,
and Alfredo, I know that the TSR team is watching, so I would also keep an eye on your inbox.
There you go. And then, all right, so couple topics for the day so we don't go too far over time. The first thing I want to talk about, hold on a second. If you have specific questions about the transition, about resumes, about interview prep, about salary negotiation, about starting a business, about marketing yourself on LinkedIn, about networking, any of these things, I encourage you to put them in the chat and we will answer your questions live. Unpracticed, unvarnished, you usually get the rough answer from me and then the more polished, nicer answer from Tara. We've got Alfredo. I would definitely reach out to our team. Fort Meade, they've got great opportunities. I'm not I'm not going to lie to you. If I were to continue serving, I would go to the Maryland Air National Guard. Hands down. Active mission, especially for operators. Great culture right there in Fort Meade, like great connection. So I would consider it. If you send me a note, Alfredo, I'm happy to also connect you with our team, or I'll connect you with some people at the Maryland Air National Guard to discuss with them. And then Sam saying supply chain risk management fanatic. So that's definitely Sam. And then, all right. So ask your questions if you have them. Now let's get to these topics. The first one is about tailoring your resume. And what I mean from this is I did a post last week that said, I worked at a 7-Eleven as a cashier before I joined the military. I worked in a Pizza Hut as a chef making the pizza. And I did room service for like a Sheraton hotel and busboy. Does that belong on my resume? And the answer is no, not in the experience section. Now, if I'm applying to be like a management, somewhere in the management of like 7-Eleven or Pizza Hut, I would include that I worked in a Pizza Hut, I'm passionate about it, but it doesn't belong in the experience section. It's not something I'm going to highlight because it's not relevant to what I want to do next. And that's what I want to share with all of you. When you start writing your resumes, especially if you've done, 10, 15, 20 years in the military, the first thing you realize is it's hard to fit everything on 2 pages, right? And you start playing like, do I make it a smaller font, or remove a few words? Do I get rid of a few lines? You're trying to jam everything in there. And the reality is we don't want that. We don't want to play Where's Waldo for your experience. Where do we find the relevant experience? And so what you have to realize, just like I took out 7-Eleven and Pizza Hut, you have to take out the experience that's not relevant, right? You really just want to focus on right up front, slap them in the face. Here's exactly what experience I have relevant to the role. Like, you asked for this, I got this. And then if you want to add some additional stuff on there, it's fine. After you show them right up in the face, like I typically will say, if you have a professional summary, if the job requires 5 to 7 years of experience of moving pens, you would put pen moving professional with 5 to 7, over 7 years experience, or over 5 years of experience moving pens. Like I move ballpoint pens, I move ink pens, I move erasable pens, and I've moved them in this many different places. You get what I'm saying? And then if you do the little skills list, I see everyone that they love so much, make sure that that's like the keywords that are in the resume. And then, if they require a degree, put that on the first page. Boom, I have this degree, check. And then with the experience, it should be focused just on that. Once you get over that, it's too much. You start to lose the reader. If the job requires 5 to 7 years experience, say over 7, over 8, maybe 10, but don't say you have 20, right? Because then it doesn't align. You start making things difficult. Tara, what would you add on that?
I like to think of 2 analogies here. One, if you thought of your piece of paper like real estate, you need to fill that. This takes time and money, right? So if each line was going to cost you like $1, what would you put on there? You would put only exactly what you needed to get this job, right? If you had to submit a resume and every line costs you $1. I think where people get kind of caught up, Mike, is that they feel like all of their experience is relevant.
Yeah.
Me, that might not be the case. You want to be really selective on what's most relevant, right? So if it's like D, all of the above, okay, well, what is the absolute most important? What are the must-haves? And hit those first. I'm also a big fan of people who highlight the big sections of their resume, and then maybe in parentheses on the bottom put like early career, and list just maybe their title if it's relevant. Again, if you had to pay for every line you submitted, what would you put on there? Yeah. And I would lead with those things.
I love it. I've never heard that analogy before, but I like it. It makes you kind of keep it a little bit more refined. I do want to like call out. I love this that Cornell says any HR operational HR in Dallas area, and then Gianna said, "Are you open to Austin?" And Cornell says, "I could be." Great answer, Cornell. Look at this, connecting the dots live here. Now, I will say that Matthew, this is a two-part question, right? So Matthew wants to know, where can I go for a resume check? I'm getting a lot of rejections for IT positions in California, and what are the big certifications? I'm planning on getting PMP and CISSP. So two things. One, a couple resources. You can go to Hire Heroes USA. You could also go to Best Military Resume and have them help you create one and compare the two. I would get a mentor from American Corporate Partners that's in the IT industry that will be able to give you that kind of hands-on experience and work with you and engage with their network. That's one thing. Number two, for the certifications, again, I would talk to people in specific roles that interest you. So IT positions could be a lot of different things. So I want you to narrow it down to what you're looking for and talk to veterans in that space so that they can give you the hands-on advice. I know, like, depending on what you're going to be doing in IT, you may not need your PMP. And CISSP is pretty much the hardest, one of the hardest CompTIA certs from an experience and learning perspective. And so if you could earn your CISSP, but you're having trouble getting past rejections for IT roles in general, I think there's a disconnect somewhere there. Matthew, what I would recommend, two things. If you're still in, take a look at the TSR program like we talked about earlier. If not, American Corporate Partners, Hire Heroes USA, Best Military Resume, 3 great resources. And Google USO MVP to attend my next Mastering LinkedIn webinar. I will teach you how to find all those people and get to those conversations. All right. Look at this. There you go. There's somebody saying,
there you go. Thanks, Andrew.
I think it depends, though, Andrew. I know that most people in the defense space want Sec Plus, which you need to get those to get to. So I would say that as well. And then Gianna saying, yep, I love it. And then CSP Certified Safety in the Houston area. Thanks for joining us. All right, couple more minutes. So titling for senior leaders. And these are going to be short hits on these. I was chatting back and forth with a senior military leader that has over 20 years of time in the military and is at a senior rank. And they're going through a 4-month boot camp for cyber and cloud. And their headline said that they are a cyber and cloud leader. And I said, do you have any experience in cyber and cloud? They're like, no, I'm doing it all in the boot camp. I never did it before I went out. So then my next question is, so what makes you think that you are a cyber and cloud leader? And he's like, well, I'm a leader. And I'm like, well, okay. So a cyber and cloud leader says that you have significant cyber and cloud experience, right? That means you are somebody that has led cyber and cloud projects hands-on through the time. Like, that is a cyber and cloud leader. A leader that went through cyber and cloud boot camp is, if you're going into cyber and cloud, means you are entry level. You have no cyber and cloud experience. You have to go get that experience if that's what you want to do. What I would say is that you could have cyber and cloud, and then find other roles in the tech industry that may be a better fit if you don't want to start over. It could be roles in sales. It could be roles in project management, product management. It could be roles anywhere throughout these large tech companies. You have to do the work to fit that in, but you are not a cyber and cloud leader because you are a leader that has gone through a boot camp. Not the right case. Am I right on that, Tara?
Yeah, and I think like what hurts the actual candidate is that you end up misrepresenting yourself, and potentially not on purpose, right? Potentially not on purpose, but you are not creating an accurate portrait of what your experience is, and I think that's only at the detriment to the candidate. And like, being entry level, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with getting your foot in the door and doing a pivot, but calling yourself a leader in the space without credentials or without experience is going to be really obvious to anyone evaluating you.
And then the next part is just talking about like having a coherent resume and a coherent LinkedIn profile, specifically for the profile. And what I talked about today on a post is that if your headline says you are something, then your about section should really talk about the scope of your experience doing that. And the experience section should have the jobs that back up and show you actually have that experience. If those three are not in alignment, then that headline, it's not your professional identity. It's not real. It's a dream. It's what you want to be. And so I always tell people you have to make sure that's in alignment. And that's why I tell people don't translate anything until you're about 3 months out when you can actually start applying from jobs. When 3 months from the day you could start is when you could start really maybe 3.5 months you start translating. But the time before that should be reaching out to people in industry, learning more about the different career fields, choosing what you want, learning what they're do every day, what their challenges are, what their successes are, what metrics they track, so that you understand what that job is. And then you could find that experience in your background and highlight it appropriately with the help of 3, 5, 7, 10 mentors in that field. That's the reason all of this works. And if you have a jacked up profile and you translate it poorly, and I see it, I'm like, I don't know what you do in the military. I'm less likely to spend time on you because I'm like, I don't have that kind of time to kind of convince someone that they're not what they say they are yet. Right? Does that make sense, Tara?
Yeah, it does. I think what we're saying is your story has to not have any plot holes, right? So we want to make sure that what you're saying you have experience in, and you can accurately look at, it's almost like fact check. It's exactly like fact checking. Yep. If you at the top say that you're the VP of something, then I want to see the VP of that thing and your roles and responsibilities here. And if you say you have industry experience in X, I want to see what kind, I want you to dive into that industry experience in X through what you did and the results you got from it in your profile or your resume. So that whole story, it's like, don't leave us hanging. Don't bury the lead. Don't leave us hanging, and there should be no plot holes.
That's it. Make it easy. Yeah. The next one I have is the ubiquitous. You should go ahead and apply. Right? You have a conversation with someone. You tell them you're interested in this role, and they say, "Yeah, I think you should go ahead and apply." That is, in most cases, I don't think you're qualified, but I don't want to tell you. I'm going to be the soft Heisman. I don't want to be the mean person, because if they thought you were qualified or a best candidate, they would have said, send me your resume, or let me put you in for a referral, or let me connect you to the member of the team. Like they would have done something for you. And what people have to realize is we get accustomed to being direct and sometimes giving bad news, constructive counseling, constructive feedback in the military. The private sector is not built that way all the time. And so you have to understand that actions speak louder than words, meaning also the lack of actions speak louder than words. If someone's really going to be a sponsor and think you're a great fit for a job, they will do something to advocate for you. Otherwise, they're just saying, go ahead and apply, so they can just, they don't have to tell you you're not qualified.
That, or they have no idea
or
anything about this role. And then you shouldn't really be talking to them about the role anyway.
Yeah. And then the last one,
assessment.
The last one, I just want to call out, so I have no IT experience in any other civilian job. I mean, unless you can add your schooling and be entry level. And if you have IT experience in the military, you can add it in there. But all the other stuff, like if you have no IT experience, you went through IT training and you're looking for an IT job, then you are entry level right now. What I tell people, Andrew, is that once you get a little bit of experience, all the things that helped you excel in the military start coming to bear. So like when I went to Ernst & Young to EY, I started out as a new senior manager, lowest level executive program, but I was just a subject matter resource. I came in to talk Army, make sure they did some stuff like that on different projects. But after I'd been there about a year, they were like, hey, could you take this team of 12 people with 3 managers underneath you? And I'm like, 3 managers, 12 people, all EY quality. Heck yeah. They're like, could you do it in 20 hours? Of course, it's not that hard. Like, the opportunities to excel start to come in there. So just keep that in mind. You got to find the right level and the right organization, Andrew. So the last one, I just want to talk about effort, right? So I did my last Mastering LinkedIn webinar, and I told everyone, there was over 150 people on the webinar, and I told them, if you post a picture of you attending the webinar, like you and your screen, you and your setup, you and your view, whatever, you tag the USO, and you share what you learned in the webinar, I would pick 5 people that I would do mentorship calls, informational interviews, just chat with them to give them advice. Out of 150 people, only about 8 actually did the work. And this is like 3 to 5 minutes of work. And so 5 of them got a calls. And this is what gets me really excited. I had a call last week with Lieutenant Dan Van Diver. He's out in Hawaii. He is a naval intel officer with a master's degree in supply chain. 20 minutes before my call with Dan, I get a phone call from my friend Chloe, who I've known for years. And she ran Tesla Energy operations and supply chain and warehousing. She was at Amazon as a senior operations person. She's now she's a VP, like global supply chain strategy leader for GE Aerospace. So she calls, we check in, out of the blue. I get on with Dan, and it turns out Dan is an intel officer, supply chain background, wants to go into supply chain, and he's looking for an internship, and one of the companies that was high on his list was GE Aerospace.
Oh.
Chloe was an Army intel officer that went to operations and Amazon and Tesla and GE Aerospace, and is at GE Aerospace. So I connected them during the call, right after the call. I said, you guys need to get on a call. And I said, Chloe, you guys should have a SkillBridge program. You could probably connect them to the right people, or you can connect them to your POCs at Tesla or your POCs at Amazon. And I'm going to tell you, Chloe's amazing. Dan was fantastic, very humble, great guy. I can't imagine that it's not going to be fantastic. And I just want to share, like, someone up top, whoever you prayed to, if you pray at all, like, made that. I hadn't talked to Chloe in over a year, and she called me right before that call. It was just, so I just want people to realize that you don't know where your transition is going to take you. You don't know what calls are going to create opportunities. But if you put in the effort, like if you genuinely put forth work and you reach out and you talk to people, these kind of things will change your lives. And so hopefully on my May 28th webinar, more than 8 people take me up on it, and some other people will get their lives changed. And with that, I went 4 minutes over in that story. Tara, any last words?
I think the moral of your story and our wrap up for today will be: hard work puts you where good luck can find you.
Ooh, I like that. That's a great way to end it. Well, thank you everybody for joining us, and have a great rest of your day.
See ya.